on Na pressure point attacks. This symbol is known in the West as the yin-yang. In actuality, the proper name of this symbol is the Tai Chi, or Grand Ultimate. This is the same term as in Tai Chi Chuan, or Grand Ultimate Fist. Yin and Yang combine to form the Tai Chi. This represents the dualism that underlies Taoist philosophy. Yin and Yang can represent many contrasting concepts, such as light and dark, hard and soft, or male and female. When considering the weaknesses within all human bodies, the concept of yin targets is all important. Yin targets reside in shadow, specifically the throat, the armpits, and the groin. Each of these targets are structural openings in the body where major arteries, veins, and nerves are exposed. Kung Fu fighters will aim for yin targets when they wish to inflict permanent damage. Beyond yin targets, the human body has many more weak points. Many of these points are based on a theory of qi flow. Qi is the vital energy of the body, and it flows through the body along paths called meridians. These meridians are associated with different organs and have various points, which are what acupuncturists stimulate with their needles. It is believed that illness is caused by improper flow of qi, and the needles, or even direct pressure, can remove these blockages and restore balance and health. Some of these points are large enough to be vulnerable to digital pressure or striking, which can severely disrupt the qi flow. These same points that can be used for healing can be used destructively. Many of the great Chinese martial artists of the past worked as healers for their primary source of income. They could use their knowledge of ways of the body to heal or harm. Deep knowledge of Qi Na can be used towards healing. With a complete understanding of how the joints of the body work, Qi Na experts could realign joints similar to chiropractic adjustment. These healers were known as bone setters and were sought after for all sorts of cures and therapies for a host of different maladies. Kung Fu is taught in sets, or movement sequences similar to gymnastic routines. This is a snake set of Hung Gar Kung Fu. Concealed within these movements are numerous pressure point attacks. If you practice pressure points with a partner, go very slowly. Pressure points can be very painful, and if this is practiced without caution, serious injury can result. Students must practice prudence with the underlying realization that in a real fight, there would be no holds barred. In the following demonstrations, the movements are slowed down so that they do not cause any lasting damage and can be demonstrated clearly to the viewer. While viewing these techniques, always keep in mind that the effect of surprise and the velocity of the attack make all the difference in a real-life confrontation. In actual combat, the elements of timing and velocity are crucial. This point is named Neguan, or pericardium 6. It is located on the palmar side of the forearm, above the crease of the wrist, between the two tendons of the wrist. Neguan means inner gate, referring to its location on the inner arm and its position as connecting the pericardium meridian to the triple burner meridian. To counter a high punch, block first, deflecting your opponent's fist to his inside. Seize his wrist and press the point with your thumb. Rotate and extend his arm, bringing his shoulder to the floor. This technique will work as an arm lock without using the pressure point. However, using the pressure point will inflict more pain. To counter a low punch, block in the same manner except point your fingers down instead of up. Your hands will be on opposite sides of your opponent's arm instead of the same side. Press the point with your thumb and pivot your body to twist his arm, locking his shoulder with your shoulder. In this lock, you control your opponent's shoulder, elbow, and wrist while working his pressure point and pulling him off balance. This point is named Shosan Li, or large intestine 10. It is located on the radial side of the dorsal surface of the forearm. Shosan means arm 3. Li is a unit of measurement. This name references its location, 3 li from the elbow, and its symmetry to a different acupuncture point named Tsusan Li on the leg. To counter a low punch, block first, then seize your opponent's wrist and forearm. Press down on the point, then twist his arm back, keeping his elbow extended. Twisting and locking his arm controls his wrist, elbow, and shoulder simultaneously. Grab his elbow with your palm so that your thumb is on the point. By twisting his arm back, you can bring his body forward, upsetting his balance. Block his punch with your palms first. Then wrap your fingers around his arm for the grab. Blocking with your fingers before your palms can injure your fingers. To counter a high punch, first grab his fist from the top. Grab his forearm with your free hand so that your palms are on either side of your opponent's arm. Use your middle finger to press the point while bending his elbow. In this technique, pull his wrist down and to the side as you keep his elbow up. Your hands end palms up, controlling his forearm by the wrist and elbow. This technique uses Shosan Li and Heigu, or large intestine 4. Heigu is located on the back of the hand between the bones of the thumb and first finger, on the radial side of the midpoint of the second metacarpal bone. Heigu means converging valley, describing the shape of this point in relation to the bones of the hand. Alternatively, martial artists will call this point hukao, or tiger's mouth. To counter a grab to your collar, first seize your opponent's hand, pressing the point with your thumb. Bring your other hand to his forearm, pressing the next point with your other thumb. Twist his arm inwards, bringing your shoulder to his shoulder, pulling him off balance. Press deeply on these points to loosen his grip. Pivot your whole body to twist his arm, pulling him over your shoulder. Keep your arms in front of you throughout the twist. This technique could work without the pressure points, provided you could break your opponent's grip. When correctly executed, you gain control of his arm at the hand, wrist, and shoulder, plus inflict pain with the pressure points. This technique uses Heigu, Haoshi, and Chisi. Haoshi, or small intestine 3, is located between the light and dark skin along the ulnar border of the hand. Haoshi means backstream, referring to its location and shape. Chisi, or lung 5, is located in the depression of the radial side of the tendon of the biceps muscle of the upper arm. Chisi means shallow marsh, referring to its designation as a water point on the lung meridian. To counter a grab to your collar, first seize your opponent's hand, pressing both of the points of his hand. Grab his forearm with your other hand so that both of your palms face each other, pressing the third point with your finger. Twist and extend his arm, pushing it down to the floor. When you grab his arm, your thumbs point in opposite directions. Twist his arm so that both of your palms face out with your fingers pointed down. Press your palms to the ground, squeezing his forearm between your body and the floor. Once you loosen his grip, the pressure points are not critical to make this technique work. However, they can significantly increase your opponent's discomfort. To counter a low punch, grab his wrist and forearm, pressing only the chitsa point with your thumb. Pivot your body to twist his arm, bringing your shoulder to his shoulder. This technique will control his arm and torso without the pressure point. Adding the pressure point will make this a stronger technique, making your opponent more likely to submit. In this variation, you switch your hand positions. Grab his wrist, then seize his forearm with your palm on the inside of his elbow. Flex his elbow, pressing his wrist to the floor. Pressing the point while bending and twisting his elbow can upset your opponent's balance enough to take him down. Control his forearm by his wrist and elbow, twisting it so it is horizontal with his fist pointed out. Using the pressure point will help soften his arm. This technique uses chitsa and chuchi. These points are on either side of the elbow. With the elbow flexed, chuchi, or large intestine 11, is located at the lateral end of the elbow crease. Chuchi means pond at the bend, referring to the pond-like depression of this point when the elbow is bent. To counter a high punch, deflect your opponent's fist up, seizing his wrist and elbow. Squeeze the points with your thumb and finger. Twist his arm, turning your opponent's back to you. Seize his arm with both of your thumbs pointed at each other. Controlling his forearm by the wrist and elbow, roll his forearm over so that his palm faces up. As you twist his arm, step in close to maintain control of his upper body. Use your upper body to turn his arm over. To counter a grab to your upper arm, raise your arm to extend his arm and loosen his grip. Seize his elbow and press the points. Grab his wrist with your other hand and twist his arm back. Squeeze the points while controlling his elbow. Follow your forearm down his wrist for the second grab, maintaining contact from his grab to yours. Your arm makes one fluent motion from his grab to your grab. Step in as you twist his arm.擒拿techniques can encompass splitting joints, attacking pressure points, and separating muscles and tendons. This technique is of the last category. These points are on either side of the triceps muscle, under the upper arm. Pinching here can cause extreme pain, like a pressure point, although strictly speaking, this is not a pressure point. To counter a high punch, grab his wrist and deflect it to the side. Use your other hand to seize his triceps muscles. Pinch deeply, with the intention of making your fingertips meet. Lift his arm up slightly to expose the underside of his arm. This technique can work well on a larger opponent since the target is more easily accessible. Pull his punch across his body to make it harder for him to retaliate with his other hand. This point is named Jian Liao, or Triple Warmer 14. It is located on the shoulder in a depression inferior and posterior to the shoulder joint when the arm is raised. Jian Liao means shoulder bone depression, describing the location of this point. To counter a low punch, deflect his fist to the side. Grab his shoulder with your palm and press down on the point with your thumb. Pull his fist forward and down to expose his shoulder. This point is named Lao Guan, and it is a special point used by martial artists that does not reside on a meridian. It is located in the center of the jaw muscle, directly in line with the teeth. Lao Guan means gate of the teeth, referring to its location. To counter a low punch, deflect his fist to the side. With your other hand, follow his arm up to his face and grab his jaw. Press the point, pushing his head back while retaining your grip on his wrist. You can press these points on both sides of his face. Place your palm on his jaw under his mouth so that he cannot bite your hand. This point is named Chuepen, or stomach 12. It is located at the center of the supraclavicular fossa, or the forbidden triangle behind the collarbone. Chuepen means empty basin, which refers to the basin-like shape of the depression. To counter a punch, deflect his fist to the side. Place your palm on his collarbone and press down on the point with your thumb. Press deeply with your thumb, as if trying to penetrate his lung from the top. This point is named Jianjing, or gallbladder 21. It is located on the shoulder, directly above the nipple, in the center of the trapezius muscle. Jianjing means shoulder well, referring to its location and shape. The chest cavity is deep and hollow, like the bottom of a well. To counter a grab to your collar, grab his hand, then wrap your other arm around his arm. Bring your fingers to the point and press down. Maintain control of his arm with your arm and hand. To wrap his arm, bring the crook of your elbow to the crook of his elbow and let your hand wrap fluently up to his shoulder. Step in as you wrap his arm. This is another muscle separating technique. This attack is the trapezius muscle, which connects the base of the skull to the shoulder blade. Like the triceps example, these are not pressure points. However, pinching here can cause the same amount of pain as a pressure point. These points are on either side of the previous Jianjing point. To counter a grab to your collar, grab his hand and turn your shoulder to loosen his grip. Hyperflex his wrist and hyperextend his elbow to bring his shoulder down. Pinch his trapezius with your thumb and finger with the intention of making these fingertips meet. This pinch is a finishing movement to the arm lock. Use your fingers to pry this grip of your collar. For the lock, press his palm towards his forearm while pulling his wrist to straighten his arm. This is another muscle separating technique. This attack is to the external and internal oblique muscles that connect the lower ribs and the iliac crest on top of the hip bones. This soft portion of the body is the dividing point between the torso and abdomen and is left unprotected by the rib cage or the pelvic girdle. To counter a grab to your collar, reach under your opponent's arm to break his grip and seize his wrist. Use your other hand to pinch under his ribs with your thumb and fingers. Pinch deeply with the intention of making your fingertips meet. Pull his arm to the side to expose the target area. This technique can work well on a larger opponent since the target is more easily accessible. This point is named Yangling Quan, or gallbladder 34. It is located on the lateral side of the leg in the depression anterior and inferior to the head of the fibula. Yang is the complement of yin. It is used here to refer to the outside of the leg. Ling Quan means mound spring, describing its shape, a mound next to a depression. To counter a toe kick, grab your opponent's ankle, stopping the kick before it reaches its apex. Use your other hand to grab below his knee, pressing in on the point with your thumb. Stop the kick using palms first, then wrap your fingers around for the grab. This point is named Yin Bao, or liver 9. It is located on the medial side of the thigh between the medial vastus muscle and sartorius muscle. Yin is the complement of Yang. It is used here to refer to the inside of the leg. Bao means container or womb. Afflictions of the womb can be treated with this point. To counter a toe kick, grab your opponent's ankle, stopping the kick before it reaches its apex. Use your other hand to grab above his knee, pressing on the point with your forefinger. Techniques using the Yang Ling Quan and the Yin Bao are essentially the same. The only difference is whether you grab above or below your opponent's knee. This point is named Chung Shan, or bladder 57. It is located in a pointed depression formed below the gastrocnemius muscle belly when the leg is stretched or the heel is lifted. Chung Shan means supporting mountain, referring to its physical resemblance to a mountain and its importance to maintaining an upright stance. To counter a side kick, grab your opponent's ankle to block the kick. Place your palm on the inside of his calf and press down on the point with your finger. Grip his leg as you would his arm. Use your thumb to oppose the pressure of your finger on the other side of the leg. This point is named Chongjin, or bladder 56. It is located on the posterior side of the leg at the center of the gastrocnemius muscle belly. Chongjin means supporting tendon, referring not only to its location and function, but also to its usage in acupuncture to strengthen the function of the leg. To counter a side kick, hook your opponent's leg to block the kick. Place your palm on the inside of his calf and press down on the point with your thumb. This technique can be more difficult to apply than the previous if your hand is small and your opponent's calf is large. This point is named Weizhong, or bladder 40. It is located at the midpoint of the popliteal crease behind the knee, between the tendons of the biceps muscle of the thigh and the semitendinous muscle. Waijiang means bend center, referring to the location of this point at the center of the bend of the knee. Chongshan, Chongjin, and Waijiang can be used alternately when intercepting side kicks or attacking the leg. It should be noted that all leg points can be harder to hit since there are more muscles on the leg, making it more difficult to get a solid grip and inflict penetrating pressure.